Evening. Right?
Yeah. Not surprised though, innit?
That was shit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to United Review. Obviously United have just lost the Manchester derby 3-1. Not really much you can say, is there? Because it wasn't unexpected.
Yeah.
I think what the most surprising thing about this is that we beat Juventus midweek. That's still the most surprising thing about any of this.
We're going to lose to at least one of them.
We could have lost heavily to both.
Exactly.
I had confidence actually coming into this. I thought we could find a way, shithouse it, and what we had was a puncher's chance. Do you know when McGregor Khabib was happening and everyone's like, how's it going down? You can never discount a puncher's chance because it only takes one sometimes. It's not quite the same in football because it's 90 minutes regardless of how many punches you throw. But sometimes it only takes one. And that's why you have giant killings in the FA Cup. Clearly isn't a giant killing, or wouldn't have been a giant killing. But you know that things against the odds can happen in football that are sometimes a bit more complicated than a puncher's chance. But the puncher's chance for Khabib and McGregor was about what we was looking at for United to win this game. Can we stun them? Can we hit them with a Fellaini set piece? Can we hit them on a counter-attack? And because we was going to concede possession, we was going to concede chances, and we was going to escape with a result, if not a performance, because we was never going to the Etihad with this team to outplay them, right? And if anybody thinks that that's doable with this United team, I don't know what you need to do to realise that this United team just simply is nowhere near that City team.
There's not many top sides, I'm saying top sides, never mind side like teams in general, that will turn up at City and dominate. So I'm saying all out, play them all out. So I wasn't expecting that. But for me, this thing was Paul Pogba. When we were receiving the ball in areas where I can't blame really Ander Herrera at times, because he's more of someone who receives the ball and wants the movement around him, whether it's Matic, Pogba, someone who has an understanding to move straight away. Now, Fellaini was good defensively. Matic put in a few tackles in the first half. They did all right, but there was no output. When we received it on the edge of the box, there was no creativity. There was no one moving across the line.
The thing is that I saw that a lot, actually. People talking about no creativity for United. But you don't need creativity. You're not looking for people to unlock something with a beautiful pass because you're piling the pressure on against the team sitting back. You need League Two footballers. You need someone to win back possession, turn round, or maybe pass it out of possession, because when you win a tackle, that's your most vulnerable, to losing the ball straight away. So the good football thing to do is, when you win a tackle, is to pass to you, because you've got your head up and I've just been involved in a tackle. So I'm going to pass to you. Now, sometimes you can maybe see, because you're looking at me and you go, there's no one behind him, and you can bounce pass it straight back to me, right? But the most important thing to do for a footballer when they win possession is to get it out of their feet, play it to you, for example, and then you can send it down the pitch, especially when you're trying to play counter-attack, because that's what you're trying to do.
We were wasteful.
It's quick transitions.
I thought we were set up to play counter, and I thought, you know what, in the first half, there was a couple of bright sparks, with, where Jesse Lingard will make her inside and kept the ball pretty well, and then Marcus or Martial would receive the ball, and we were just wasteful at times there, where, like you said, puncher's chance, you need to be lethal with that, because that's your only chance.
If you're going to be a puncher, you've got to throw punches, though.
Exactly.
And we had one shot on target, and that was the penalty. We didn't create chances. We didn't isolate. What you've got to do in these circumstances is get... We saw the forward three, didn't we, and went, if you give them the opportunities, something could happen here. Yeah. We didn't give them the opportunities. We didn't get the ball to them. We were so sluggish in the midfield. Now, we had to protect the defence, but I think...
We're getting cut open, though.
I think all four of them, not even Luke Shaw, to be honest. Luke Shaw looked okay with the ball at his feet, more than the other two. More than the other three. But the four of them were they were run ragged. Yeah. They were absolutely run ragged, the four of them.
Difference.
And you just think...
Difference in quality.
Like, you've got to level that up. I mean, I rag on Ashley Young. I think it's justified most of the time. Yeah, sometimes I do it as a laugh, but most of the time it's really justified. The fact that he's our captain. Listen, there's loads of studies done into sport in terms of how you create great teams. You don't create teams by like a handful of great players. you create great teams by raising everybody's lowest level.
Need leaders.
So a team will default to their weakest link. So if you've got 10 great players and one absolute donkey, your donkey will fuck your teams up. You are better off having more average players without having someone really shit.
I think a good example of that is actually Man City. If you look at last season, where they'd have everyone, and then there would be like that one up player where we've seen Delph go in there, and it took them a bit of time to get used to not having Mendy in there and the different styles of play. And you're like, oh, we're going to target him, and that's where they could lose a game. But with us, like having to turn to someone like Ashley Young now. He wasn't he wasn't the worst player on the pitch today, but you need leaders in there that have a bit of quality with them. Like we keep saying this, Roy Keane, he was just never replaced, and there's just no bite in there in that team. I don't feel like someone wants to be in there. Like Herrera has that in him, but you've got to work around him as a team, and it just wasn't there.
I don't know if people are saying there's no point ranting. I don't honestly feel like I'm ranting. This is like level 1, really, to be honest with you. I don't feel like we're ranting here. We are going to have a look at the game and try to assess it, but we're not really going to give you anything here that you didn't know. Sometimes I can do that. Sometimes I can say, check this out, this happened in that game. But without even looking at the data now, I can say United didn't have possession. We didn't have any ball in the final third. We didn't put any balls into the box. We didn't put any balls in behind our players. We made errors at the back. We allowed them to dominate possession. And the game management from City was absolutely banging. They scored at such a great time, then they took the foot off the gas because they know you're most vulnerable when you've just scored. That's when you're more likely to concede. So they took their foot off the gas and they sat back a little bit. And then once they'd ridden out that potential little storm we had around about 25-minute mark, they pushed it a little bit again, and towards the end of the half they finished strong. If they'd have got another goal there, it was already game over. We go in at half time 1-0 down, and you're like, Jose's turned it around at half time in the past, let's see what happens. Now from a City point of view, again, you United are going to come out strong, you want to sit on the ropes a little bit, you want to ride it out, and then you want to hit them while they're pulling forward, and that's exactly what they did. Then we pull a goal back. Decent substitutions. I think we agreed with the substitutions, even if I thought we slowed ourselves down with the substitution. I agreed with them, though. It's a little bit more energy and a little bit more quality on the ball, probably. And then they get the third, and that is absolutely game over. If you break down the individual goals, it's terrible defending for all of them. If
we look at, I think, the Gundogan goal, that was disgraceful defending. That for me just summed us up.
Mate,
that goal.
Gundogan had so much time in the box. He took a selfie, posted it, right? Waved to someone in the crowd and then buried it. And you're like,
nice touchdown. And he's got
Aguero's goal was a brilliant goal. But you go, Dave, you got to save that. It's gone through your hands. That's
at the start when I thought he just roofed that with pure power. I was like, tough. And then as soon as the camera angle switches, you got to do better.
Lindelof doesn't put a challenge in on him.
The Gundogan one, when you watch it back, Lindelof's in front of his man. I don't know who. I think it might have been Sterling or someone. I think Sterling might have been given the ball, but it was Silva. Sorry, brings the ball over. But Lindelof's in front of his man. He's done his job. He's gone to Matic there. Now Matic is aware with what's around. Now Matic has got to drop in. Now we talk about how Matic is dropping in for the defenders. Matic has got to go in there. You can't. With the experience that he's had at Chelsea, with the big games that he's played, you've got to be more aware in that situation, and he's got to step up. Then what are you in the side for? Because your output going forward is not brilliant, Matic. So defensively, you've got to do something there.
I think he has. I mean, not today. I mean, I've got to pour over these.
He really needs a rest
to see what the crack is really. Should we start having a look at some analytics? Let us know in the comments who you want to look at. We've pulled up a couple of City players, which we'll get into in a little bit, to show you what sort of impact they've been having on the game, and it's pretty regular for them, if we're being honest as well. Let's have a look at United's average touches and just see how far away from their box it is. So as you would expect, Tony Marshall furthest forward, Mata a little bit further forward than him, Lukaku quite far back when you consider it. That I thought, actually watching, you see 27-31 there, Matic and Fellaini completely in each other's pocket. Ander Herrera was actually being a bit more like a 6. The reason for that was he was basically holding Ashley Young's hand and making sure that he didn't get tatered. But Jesse Lingard not far enough forward, obviously it has to do defensive duties. Marcus Rashford not far enough forward, again has to do defensive duties on the right and help Ashley Young out once Lukaku came on. Tony Marshall quite far forward.
There's no balance, is there? No. If you just look at that, like we've seen some weeks when we've done this, and you're just like, we're missing something in there. Even when we've won games, are like, I'm not feeling that.
There's always that lack of something on the right. I mean, it's not so much now. It's not so much lack of something on the right because Herrera's shuttled over to the right to protect. But this is my point with if we had better centre halves, you could play Herrera as your 6, and he will do that dirty shit that you need to do as a 6, but you can also move the ball forward. And United today didn't move that ball forward. Them 3 didn't move it forward enough. If you've got Ander Herrera and all he's got to do is find Mata or Pogba or even Fred or Pereira, I mean, for me, the closest player that we've got to Pogba is Andreas Pereira. Someone with a range, someone who's going to spread the passing, someone who's going to carry the ball forward. Not even in the squad. And Fred's an attacking number 8, not the same style of player as Pogba. But if you'd have gone put Fred in for Pogba, you go okay. Jose said he wanted to have Fellaini on the bench and bring him on as an impact, but he couldn't do that because Pogba didn't play. You're like, no, you could have done that. Yeah. You could have played. You could have played the energy of Fred. Probably would have given you an extra bite in midfield, and then you can bring Fellaini on.
The fact that McTominay is probably ahead as an option for a game like this, and Fred and Pereira is where you go. That's on you. That because in transition we were awful today. Even in the second half when he spoke about that period where City really knew exactly what they wanted to do there and hit us with that goal. As soon as we were getting the ball in midfield, then I felt like a sense of a bit of an attacking game here from United. There was just no one to transition the ball quickly forward up the pitch, and I thought we're missing a Mata now. We're missing.
That's why I thought the subs was all right because we did bring that in.
It comes in just after that goal.
Let's have a look at City's. Can you do us a favour as well, because I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of opposition fans in here trying to take the piss. Can you like the video if you're a United fan, please? Thank you. Right, here we go. Here's City's average touch map. As you can see, Kyle Walker was pushed back. Yeah. This is City showing United a bit of respect. Pep showing United a little bit of respect there, because even though they're still over the halfway line or near enough on the halfway line, City's fullbacks are usually a lot higher up than that. Yeah. So they did restrict their own fullbacks because they was aware of the counter-attack being United's major outlet. Fernandinho, the midfield three, look at that, 21, 20 and 25. The midfield three, great shape. The forward three, great shape. That's what you want. That is what you're looking for in 4-3-3. You want to see your fullbacks up alongside your midfield. Pretty much the midfield five there, absolutely perfect.
Look at the difference between where we had Matic and Fellaini to where
Bang United back on.
Like,
right, put City back on. I'm looking at Marshall here specifically, and I'm just seeing how far forward Marshall is versus City, versus how far forward like Sterling or Aguero is, and then the rest of the team. United are basically on our halfway line, aren't we? Really?
There's no balance in there, just like the way we play.
But then again, this is what I like about the balance that you see in City's team. Go back to City, Mahrez, right hand side, holding position. Walker behind him, holding position.
I thought Walker was brilliant.
Obviously, Sterling's an inside forward. He's always going to drift. Sterling still holding quite a wide position, level with the edge of the box. Mendy holding position. You've got a balanced team. You can look at that. You can go, there's your 4, there's your 3, there's your 3. Boom. That's the position. Put United on. Not a fucking clue. What's that? So you could, if you just looked at that for once and was like, United played a back 3? No. Oh.
Back 2.
So, yeah, you got, okay, bit of a lopsided 4. Where's 21 playing? Where's Herrera playing? Okay, who's the midfield? Fuck knows. Back to City? 4-3-3. Mint. Unbelievable. That's the difference. Now, even in a defensive shape, you can hold a defensive shape and have a look at it. Let's know in the comments who you want us to go and have a look at. Show me Fernandinho actually, because I think he was very good today. He was annoyingly fucking good.
Should have been sent off.
Should have been sent off
as that,
because that tactical foul that he denying, despite admitting it in the documentary.
That first one was a pure yellow card. Like, that was no argument yellow card. He doesn't get that. Then the second one comes in. He doesn't get that. Like,
yeah, the tactical fouls like that, not getting it. But look at the involvement everywhere. Didn't need to venture into our box, but he covered every other part of it, even a lot deep there, getting into the box, supporting his defence. Very good. I like that.
I think Silva did really well to support him. I think we've got Silva as well. He'd be good to look at.
So this is David Silva, obviously. Silva was everywhere as well. He was in our box, quite deep himself, but really controlling. And he was a threat everywhere he went.
I think that role that Matic can do, honestly, because we've seen him do it at Chelsea away. where he can get himself around in midfield.
I think
you said it yourself.
Frequent passes then, because I think it's probably, the left-hand side from United. We're going from Lindelof into Shaw, Shaw into Martial. We're going Fellaini into Martial, Matic into Shaw as well. This is something that we've seen all season long. We're not seeing anything like this on the right. We saw it last week, I think, with Herrera, was actually pushing it out to Young a little bit.
But that's because Pogba was doing enough on the ball to then allow Herrera to support that right side. Where Fred did as well against Bournemouth at times. I thought he was coming out to the right a lot.
In the comments, I can't read the name. The formations you are showing, who's responsible for the dross, the players or the manager? It's a little bit of both. It's definitely a little bit of both. Jose's obviously responsible to a certain degree, but so are the players. Obviously responsible to a certain degree. You burnt the cheese, says show Matic. Let's have a look. So here we go. Matic. Not concentrated. Actually way more involved in the opposition box than I would expect. Yeah. Flash up Fernandinho's. If you just click right over him, it'll just go straight over him. Yeah, Fernandinho's owning that centre circle. Come back to Matic. Not enough there. Owning the centre circle there, Fernandinho. That's his shit. And that's what United lacked today, was that owning of the midfield. Like it's like in combat sports, boxing or MMA. Fucking take the centre of the cage and make someone come at you. Fernandinho took the centre of the pitch today and was like, who's going to take this from me? And it wasn't us.
I think the problem was towards the end of the second half, and this is where Mourinho said, he could have had Fellaini as a substitute, and that was his fault because he had options. But
did have options, absolutely had
towards
options.
the end of the game, I felt like Fellaini was confused, because if you look at the end of the Juventus game, tired, but in terms of, I think, his positioning, I don't think he was in a certain... I don't think he knew what he was doing, because if you look at the end of the Juventus game, as soon as we scored the second, he was on Ronaldo, if you look at the last 4 or 5 minutes, and I watched that last 4 or 5 minutes a couple of times. Today, he was just in the middle of the pitch in Matic's way. He wasn't pushing up further up the pitch as an option.
We've been asked for Ander Herrera's stats, so it's a little bit more spread out again. Not owning that centre circle, not really owning this number 6. A lot over onto the right hand side. Again, that was supporting Ashley Young. So let's have a look at what he did. So it was 33 out of 37 passes accurate. Pretty happy with that. Challenges, 8 out of 10 won. That's pretty good. Yeah, you can't really argue with that. Got 0 out of 2 attacking challenges won, but got 8 out of 10 defensive challenges won.
That's enough defensively for me. For you to
6 out of 8 tackles. Yeah, 6 out of 8 tackles. 1 out of 5 interceptions is a little bit on the slow side, isn't it? Yeah. And 1 out of 3 picking up free balls in the opposition half. He was decent. 6 out of 10 recoveries in opposition half. He was decent, and like you said, enough to make me want to say, try him as a number 6 and see what happens.
I remember we've tried him there. I think going back to this Mourinho's first season when we didn't have Matic and Fellaini was out, I think there was a Leicester game at home where we had him and Pogba. I remember just looking at him, this guy's ready for the number 6.
Let's have a look at Marcus's. Because I think we just completely did him dirty. We didn't get him anywhere near. We not got him. All right. So Marcus's, it was 9 out of 14 passes. It's just not enough.
Yeah.
3 fouls suffered. It just wasn't enough from him in the slightest at all. I don't have dribbles on this. I think Instat should get dribbles on there, because that would be good for us to see. But the person who passes it to Marcus the most...
There we go, got him up now. Does come a lot deep in this, if you can see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Let's have a look at Sanchez's, if we've got those. Do we have those? I don't think we've
really wanted Sanchez in more of a game.
So look at Lukaku. I can see Lukaku down there, so let's have a look at Lukaku. It's just the same pattern that we're seeing, isn't it? And I think the way United are set up, doesn't matter who we get up front. You get Ronaldo up front, he's not going to look good in this team. Because if you look at the players that we've cycled through recently, from RVP, Rooney, Falcao, Zlatan, Lukaku, Rashford's doing amazing to still be in the hunt in this and not looking terrible. But it's just his average position was on the halfway line. No striker in this world is ever going to do well on the halfway line. Do we have City's frequent passes? We didn't know. All right. Let us know in the comments who else you want to see or what data that you want us to go over. I'm just going to try and pull up the full match data. Where's that? Because I think City doubled our passes, I feel like. Let's have a look through this. Obviously, 16 shots from City, 5 on target. 5 shots from United, 1 on target. 67%, 4% possession to City. In the first half, it was 71%. Obviously, we did come back into it a little bit in the second half. We saw that, and obviously that's reflected in this. From City, 662 out of 730 passes accurate, 91%. United, 338. Yeah, it's about half in it. Out of 405, 83% accurate. Just not fucking good enough, is it?
It's not good enough in a big game when you're giving half the ball to the end.
City attacked down our left-hand side 35 times, compared to 23 on the right-hand side and 24 in the middle. United attacked down our left-hand side 26 times compared to 19 and 18 in the middle. It's just exactly what we thought it would be. And let's have a look in the comments and see what you guys are saying. Obviously, this channel is supported by the absolute legends on Patreon, and we're going to be doing some real cool shit with them soon as well. So if you want to know more about Patreon, link is in the description. There's like nearly 500 people in there at the moment, and we are doing a worldwide FIFA tournament. It's going to be like a combination of the FA Cup and like the Champions League, because we're going to do, and the World Cup even, we're going to do like regionalised groups. So if you're from Australia, you're going to play against a couple of people in Australia and move through the rounds. We're going to be starting that in the next couple of weeks. So if you're interested, you've got a couple of weeks to come and join Patreon. Then it's going to be locked. I'm going to buy a fucking massive trophy. There's going to be medals. We're going to do a live stream final. Plus there's behind the scenes vlogs, podcast, all kinds of shit there for everybody on Patreon as well. So if you're interested, you want to know what it's all about, the link is in the description, and it's definitely worth getting out there. So Opfusion says Marshall's stats. Let's have a look at his touches, and I will pull up his data here. So Tony Marshall was 29 out of 39 passes, 5 out of 12 challenges won. I wish I had dribbles, because Tony would probably be a little bit higher on dribbles. Didn't really put much in the box for anybody else, and he has actually started to do that of late. And
I think it's the fact that every time he looks up, Marcus Rashford was doing so much of the work around the box
well, none of them supported any of them.
Yeah,
anytime that they got the ball, whether Jesse got the ball or Marcus got the ball or Tony got the ball, there was no other fuck around.
I think whether it's Pep's game plan or what Walker was doing, but he was sort of holding back whilst Mendy was supporting what City were doing going forward, and I thought he was brilliant today. He hunted
bang back on. Let's have a look at his stats
every
there.
opportunity.
So obviously there's that time when he drifted over to the right that one time. I think that's probably those 3 dots that we see there. A little bit more involved, losing the ball quite a lot on the edge of the box. I think the 3 of those on the very left-hand side of the box, as you're looking at it, block shots. Yeah, I think they were block shots, and obviously the spot right on the penalty spot was the penalty.
There's no options around these players, is there? When you like someone like Marcus Rashford, Martial, you want to give it to someone and straight away off on the run, but there's just no option.
Someone says stats are shit. You're shit, mate. How about that? Is the Patreon group just for United fans? No, I do think we've got some opposition fans in there. We have got a few in there. There's not many, I'll be honest with you. It is mostly United fans, and it is geared up. A lot of the content is geared up for United fans for obvious reasons. But no, it's not just for United fans. What was I just about to have a look at here? Let us know who you guys want to see next. I'm going to nip over to Patreon group in a second as well, and see what you guys are saying in the questions, because they've got their own little questions group in there. Biggest problem currently, says Ollie, lack of quality, I'd say, throughout. Lack of balance and quality, actually. Balance and quality.
That sums it up pretty much.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how shit was that? Wasn't a 1. Might have been
1.5.
Might have been a 3. I don't know, because it's where your expectation is, innit? Yeah. Really? Ryan says, if all of us could tell that Matic, Fellaini, Herrera weren't going to be able to deal with City's midfield, how the fuck could Jose not see it?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got his favourites, hasn't he, sometimes. What is wrong with Valencia, says Liam. I think he's in the doghouse.
He's probably gone in January. Like, it would not surprise me.
Mad that, innit? That he starts the season as captain, sees his arse.
Says a lot about the way the club's being run now, when your captain's already just out the team because of some Instagram post stuff. says everything about
Brian McD, can you tell any particular game plan? Seemed like he wanted to hit on the counter with our deep line, but no pace in transition at all. Yeah, we sort of covered that earlier. I think that's exactly it. I think the game plan was to pump it into the channels and try and isolate those players either 1v1 and then get them in the box. But the execution of that was fucking terrible.
Because every single time Martial or Jesse Lingard would come into the middle with the ball, what was happening, or even Marcus Rashford, there was just no one there for them to lay it off to and make runs off him. No Pogba, no Matic, obviously they were out, but then you had people like Fred and Herrera that could come in and do that job. Say it every week now.
Arshim says, what's it going to take to Jose to drop Matic? Don't think it's going to happen. George, why does Jose refuse to start Fred? He gives us so much energy in midfield, which is clearly what we like today. I think he doesn't like his discipline in terms of positional discipline and stuff. But
you've got to give him a run in the team, man. I think that makes a huge difference once a player gets 2 or 3 games in the side.
Last blows, why are we playing 2 holding midfielders who can't run and can't pass together? I think they was meant to be in different areas of the pitch, but as you see on the average position there, they're basically holding each other's hand. Liam, will Jose ever give youth a chance? Mason had 2 goals and an assist yesterday. Axel's killing it. Andreas not even part of the squad. We know. I don't know if I'd want Mason to be part of this team, not creating. So Mason would go from scoring more than a goal a game.
Being frustrated.
He wouldn't score in 5. Do you know what? He probably would score because he's that fucking good. But I bet if he came into this team, he wouldn't score for 5 games, and the flip-floppers in our fan base would be like, he's fucking shit.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that Mason can do is start learning German and go and get himself a season-long loan over in the Bundesliga and go fucking bananas out there and just absolutely rip it up. Because that would give him I think young players need 100 games at first-team level before they can feel confident and part of it, right? And it doesn't matter where. So if he could go to Bundesliga, go Hoffenheim, Schalke, somewhere like that, get 40, 50 first-team games, and then be part of the first-team squad next season. Because he ain't going to play this season.
Yeah. I wouldn't want him to be honest, because of the way we're playing right now. It doesn't support our players that are currently established in a side, never mind a youth product that you're going to stick in a side that's so toxic and not playing in the right way.
Matt Magic says he's gotten lucky, if we're being honest. His approach to these games is awful. If only the Glazers watched us instead of looking at the results. Does he deserve back in January? Well, if he doesn't, deserves a funny word. If he's going to be here, then you've got to back him. Otherwise, you're only hurting the club. Simple
What's
as.
The point?
Yeah. And if he ain't the guy that you want to back, then bin him. Simple as that. JK says, given that we've been second half FC recently, what happened? I didn't appear tactics changed much except for a fortuitous ball up to Rom. I haven't changed at all. No, I think we was keep doing what we were doing, whatever that was meant to be.
Sanchez came on, I didn't understand where he wanted him to be effective in that game, because I felt he was a bit wasteful to have Sanchez on the pitch and not near our box.
I can understand the energy and the reasons for bringing him on.
Yeah, I understand him bringing him on, but what area of the pitch did you want him to be on? Because he spent half the time tracking back Sane with Ashley Young.
Jazz, why did Fred sit on the bench? The pivot of Matic and Fellaini is never necessary when chasing a game. No, Fellaini's in the wrong position. Fellaini is a nuisance in the box. Both boxes, actually. If he's in your fucking box, he's a nightmare for you. Fellaini was excellent against teams that went long in Watford and Burnley. Excellent, right? Can't deny it. He did the job that Matic is supposedly doing right now, but maybe not quite doing, in terms of screening Lindelof and Smalling. You don't need that against City because they're not putting them balls in. City get round the back of you and then cutbacks and stuff like that. That's how they play. You don't need that big lump of a screen in front of them. What you need is a midfield with energy that's going to hunt for everything, that's got bite to it.
They you out of the pressure. That's the thing. When City were receiving the ball, and when we received the ball in the first half,
pressure. We just look to move it. That's all we got to do.
That's the thing.
Or you do what Liverpool did. Liverpool did very well, and they forced City to change. If you watch the preview, what I was looking at Bernardo Silva dropping down to be a double pivot alongside Fernandinho, because they do like to play centrally out of a press. Yeah. But we didn't fucking press them. If you saw in the first minute, as soon as the ball went back to City's defence, we was like, have it. And we'll sit here and try and protect the midfield. And that just lets the defenders... They literally stood still at times.
But remember in the first 10 minutes, the thing that we noticed, every time they picked up the ball in midfield, there was a ball threaded through our midfield with no challenge. Those first 2 chances they created, clear-cut chances, no challenges. So what are we doing?
Gordon says, irrespective of a new manager, how many years is it going to take before we get up to the level where City are? Will a change of style make a huge difference, or are we looking for a shake-up to make from the ground back up? It's going to take a while. because I do think that you probably need to move towards somewhere of an identity that's your system. It's not vital, but now you're in Jose's third season. He ain't going to be here for another 3. He might not be here for another 1. So the next guy that comes in needs to have his way, yeah? And ideally it's a way that suits United, whether that's a Jardim, whether that's an Eddie Howe, whether that's a Zidane. Even Zidane's quite counter-attacking. But it needs to be known. This is what we do. Yeah, because I see so many times teams that aren't United, whether that's Chelsea, Arsenal at the moment, obviously City's and the teams Guardiola's had is the most extreme examples of that. They have such a rigid system, even though it's actually free-flowing, it's actually rigid in terms of instructions. If you look at what those sides are doing or what they're trying to do, those players know their instructions. They know where they're supposed to be. They know where they can overlap. And one thing that United don't know at the moment, especially when you put Marcus Rashford up front, who's played there like twice, he doesn't know the runs. He doesn't know the balls. His teammates don't know where to put the ball. Doesn't know who's going to come short for him, the problem that we found today. Those are things that you can fix with a system. It doesn't matter if it's Marcus Rashford or Martial that plays up front. These are the runs that you make. These are the balls that we look to try and play. There's no idea. That's where a system can come into play.
Like you said, it comes from a system. When we're going forward, we've said it from the first game of the season, even when we're winning those games. I feel like it's just a moment of brilliance that's going to get us out of certain situations.
From an individual guy, rather than a constant pressure and a constant trying of one thing or two things to try and break that down. So I think you can change it up pretty quickly. I think Sarri has shown you that. I think Emery has shown you that. If you've got quality and you can bring in somebody like Van Dijk, like Liverpool did. Liverpool were the fucking laughing stock defensively. Van Dijk literally fixed that on his own, right? So a new manager, a couple of key high quality signings, all goes back to a director of football. Because the longer Woodward is running his rule over transfers, fuck man, you might as well let any of you lot, me, you, fucking Will, who's a Hull fan, like, you might as well let any of us pick the transfers. We're all as qualified as Ed Woodward.
Yeah.
That's it. Probably a lot of you is more qualified. Have you ever took a fucking League 2 team to the top in footy manager? Then you're way more qualified than fucking Ed Woodward ever is. I don't think he plays footy manager. What kind of guy doesn't play footy manager? I mean, really. Clemens, we were humiliated by the best team in the country. Does this game have any impact to Jose's position? I don't think so.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it was a pure embarrassment like a 5-0 would be. The gulf was obvious, but I think it could have been a lot worse. It was close at times. It was the final goal killed it, wasn't it? Any more questioners? Fayan says Jose out all day. Oh, there's a lot of people believe you with that one. Watch Abdul's face when you say Zidane. Zidane.
I'm happy with that.
Not seeing it. Lingard stats, please, says Op Fusion. Young Will. Just texting, it's alright. Not doing that else. No. Lingard. Just not enough. Just not enough involvement. That X right in the middle of just to the right there was when he fucking lost it. I think they went and scored on that, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, you see the problem when he's coming into the middle. He does so much to bring it in there, and there's no one around him. You need players to work around you to get the best, and every attacking player today was on his own. It felt, man, it's so frustrating.
Fires says, did you see the look on De Gea's face? Not the look I want to see on a player's face when he's going to sign a new contract. Is he going to sign a new contract, though? I mean, that would definitely leave us in the shit, to be honest with you. It's not only that. I mean, you tell me that Ed Woodward is a fucking amazing businessman, which I don't agree with. What amazing businessman would just allow 100 million to walk out the door? And we're losing a lot of value. There's 11 players with contracts up, right? Some will sign, but not all of them are going to sign.
What does it say about us as a club when you let someone like that leave?
Well, if it's Marshall,
part of your team,
if it's Mata, Herrera, Pogba, De Gea, all of these guys, some of them are going to go. Some of them will stay, but some of them will go. And there's tens and tens, if not hundreds, depending on who. If it's Marshall and De Gea, I think you could argue that's £200 million you've just let walk out the door. Walk out the door. And do you think we can pick up any players on Black Friday or Cyber Monday? I think... Never mind. Why is Jose sticking with Matic when Pereira, Fred and Herrera are available? It's his bitch, innit? That's the one. Why are we so shit defensively? Because we've got shit defenders. It's the top and bottom of it.
Why weren't we this bad last season?
Because we sat deeper and we didn't try and press more or push more even. We didn't press at all. Liam Hunter, Pogba was a massive miss today, but I think it's inexcusable that Fred doesn't even get minutes. Fellaini simply doesn't have the skill set to play out of the press from City, and Matic can't tell his arse from his elbow at a minute. The guy's knackered, poor lad. You've got to think, this guy was at the World Cup, he had an operation, he's had no pre-season.
Stuck him in the team after
he plays
an operation.
Every minute. No wonder he's fucked. You talk about elite sport here, where they have super scientific ways to tailor and dovetail their training programs to make sure they're fit for the season, and we go, fuck it, had an operation, run it off, pussy, get in the fucking team, get Tracky on.
After it, where he was straight in the side.
Jose's blaming fatigue, physical and mental, after the exertions of Juventus and City having it easy against Shakhtar. Do you agree, given that we had to go hard for 95 minutes in the last 5 games? Yes. But then rest your fucking players, Jose. Like, Matic just played every one of them minutes. Rest him. Your centre-halves have played every one of them minutes. Bring Eric Bailly in, who's the best defender at the fucking club. Oh no, because he's in the doghouse, he ain't getting a fucking phone call, is he? Bring in Tony Valencia. He's done jack shit recently, and normally he has Sterling by the fucking throat, literally. So I can get behind him sometimes saying, here's what happened. And you go, that happened. But you could have fucking mitigated this, Jose, a lot of times. You could have mitigated a lot of the things that have happened this season. And I think ultimately it'll be why he pays for this with his fucking job. Listen, it's 2 fucking thousand of yous watching. Start liking, or I'm going to start hitting Abdul. Ollie says, what's worse? If we get 2,000 likes, I will hit him. How about that? If that's what you want.
We're not going to get 2,000, unfortunately. That's all City fans want.
What's worse, defensive, negative tactics, or Woodward's controlling the transfer market? Back Jose, leave him to it. Simple as that. Whether you like his tactics or not, the guy does get results when backed. Barbie Sean, what was the thinking behind having Matic and Fellaini instead of Fred? Covered that one quite a bit. Does this put into perspective how much we need Pogba? Herrera, that only vaguely created midfielder in the 11, he was awful on the ball today. I think he was awful, but he certainly is not Pogba. Your Pogba is the guy that can hit you those balls into the channel. And
we've even seen it with Pogba when you have Matic and Fellaini next to him and the right movements not with him. So you've got to have the right players around those guys.
Why does Jose hate the Brazilians? We have to stop him playing either of them. I don't think he does. I think he said every good football team needs a Brazilian, didn't he? Isn't that a quote from him?
He said something like
that. I like that. It's a good quote. No shots on target by the pen. That's just not acceptable, is it? Can't have a puncher's chance and not try and fucking punch anyone. How many shots did we have on target? Swear we didn't have any. Well, yeah, none, essentially, apart from the pen. Kermit, why do we have absolutely no plan or cohesion to our attacking play? Are we going to be champions within 5 years?
Not the way this club's getting run right now, mate.
Probably fucking.
For a hard time.
Probably fucking not, to be honest with you. Beat Juve, outclassed by City. Where does that leave Jose? Here till the end of the season, probably.
I think even before that Juve game, I think it was just, that's it for me.
Liam says, Scholes is saying the goal difference is the biggest concern as it shows the massive difference in tactics and approach. We have the players to score bucket loads where it isn't happening. What's the issue? It's how many times can we say it, man? It's because the fucking defence is terrible. 3/4 of the defence is terrible. Really?
Ashley Young's that right back, mate. That says it.
Lindelof played well in a few games, but even in those games, he makes mistakes. I don't think people picked that up from the video that I was making about how many mistakes the video that I made about 2 weeks ago, about how many mistakes he made, and that those games really suited him. But he still makes mistakes within those. Someone told me that he's actually started football as an attacker, and that's why he's good with the ball, but he doesn't have those defensive instincts.
I reckon he won't be a bad midfielder, you know. But
it might have been an option to use him potentially instead of Matic in there if you're struggling, but then we've got no centre halves.
Except Barry line.
Do you think the board will ever get sick of cowardly football, or they just not completely give a fuck? The word has been for over a year from the people that talk to me is that as long as it's the Arsenal model is they want the Arsenal model. Get me Champions League football.
I've been saying that for over a year, you know. Now I feel like we're going in that direction.
They want Arsenal football,
and I'm not shocked at all.
Stay in the Champions League. Is it going to cost us 100 million to stay in the Champions League? There's 100 million. How much is it going to cost us to win the Champions League and win the league? 500. There's your 100. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, get us Champions League. That's all they're asked about. And you can't compete with people demanding excellence, like Sheikh Mansour is, regardless of his method. Or what Liverpool are doing, demanding excellence, demanding that they win the title, demanding that they perform in the Champions League, when you're going, how much is good enough? You can't accept good enough only when other people are trying to reach for the moon.
Manchester United.
Aside from that. If there was one player from the top 6 you could bring to United, who would it be?
Who'd you bring in now? Probably a top defender.
Yeah, it's going to be a defender first and foremost.
Van Dijk?
Van Dijk or Alderweireld. Alderweireld's been off the boil a little bit, but that might be because he's trying to
I'd take Van Dijk because he'd suit Bayern and Lindelof, I reckon.
Ranabe, in my opinion, everything up to the 80 was acceptable. 2-0 down, still very much in the fight. I mean, yeah, if we'd have got an equaliser then and held on, people would have been going, solid point away from home. That's what the rest of his comment is. After that, we ran out of steam entirely as a team. 45-string goal move only works against a quality team when you can exploit their tiredness. Opinion on this. They passed us off the park. It was so fucking... What was disappointing was how easy it was in the finish. When was the last time you seen us have an easy finish like that? I don't even know.
I felt like with us, we sort of passed our way after the 90th minute. I felt like Lindelof and Smalling were getting the ball and just passing it across. Like we're winning the game 3-1.
Is that Jose video coming out? We're rerouting it a little bit. It's not coming out in how it was planned. Right, let's see what you fuckwits are saying in the comments here now. Saudi buyout, rather not, to be honest. Why Faria leave? We were better defensive assistant. I think it was a personal reasons, as far as I'm aware. I don't think there was anything nefarious going on. Mourinho has a history of overperforming less than brilliant sides. Why can't he do this here? Or has he, says Tapo? Because they've always been built on solid defences.
And he's not been given the tools to do what he wants. If you back him in the winner, even if he's playing part the bus football, he's playing his style, he'll get you the results. So you either, like you said, you back him or he's out the door. Yeah. They've got to make that decision in January, and they've got to make the statement from the 1st of January.
Porto, Carvalho. Chelsea, Carvalho, Terry. Inter, Lucio, Walter Samuel. Real Madrid, Ramos.
Brought in Varane. Had Carvalho for a bit as well. Pepe.
Do you know what I mean? Where does fucking Chris Smalling and Lindelof sit in that pile? They don't. They don't even get to fucking look at them in the eye. Because they're nowhere near the same level as any of them.
Phil Jones, who could end up in the team.
That's the difference. Jose needs fucking warrior war dogs at centre-half. So if he wants to buy a fucking 32-year-old centre-half or a 30-year-old centre-half, fuck resale value, because deep down, most of you lot in the comments now, someone in the comments says Manchester's blue and always has been. You're a fucking idiot. How about that? Like, at what level could that even possibly be fucking true? Ever. Right. Jesus Christ, son. Anyway. Jose's teams have always been built on centre-halves. You've got to let them get them centre-halves. People will be like, oh, you've got to bring through some... No, because if you bring through a 24-year-old, like if you bought Varane now, yeah? Axel Tuanzebe, find a new club. Roshan, find a new club. All those young centre-halves, find a new fucking club, right? You lot want the here and now. You lot want us challenging for a title. We came second last year and no one was asked, yeah? That's not good enough. Too far away, right? So you can't say things like that and then go... bring through younger players, because you can't have it both ways. Why does Rashford need to call back at the mid to get them to move their asses? I saw that as well. We saw that at some point during the game, because I think Marcus and Jesse are always going to press because it's just in their nature, even if they're in a team that's meant to sit back just a little bit. But obviously the midfield didn't have the legs to do that.
Crazy how the experienced players like Matic and even Ashley Young are getting told what to do by Lindelof. We've seen Jesse Lingard usher out Ashley Young, get on that side. I've seen it 2 or 3 times in that game. They shouldn't be having to do that. Those should be the leaders.
Klopp is making good use of Alexander-Arnold and Gomez and Roberto. We are better than these. Jose simply cannot play football. See, that's obviously he can play football. Obviously he can play football. But yes, they're getting more out of some players, but he also spent nearly 80 million on the centre half. And he also bought Lovren and replaced him. So, like, people saying, oh, Jose bought Bay and Lindelof, he can't have any more centre halves. Well, things didn't work out with them, or they weren't as what he thought he was. So you can't just say, oh, you've bought a centre half, fucking sling it, you're not getting one. When even Pep bought Stones.
Completely changed their defence.
Benched him, yeah? Bought a goalkeeper. Bought another goalkeeper. Had England's number one. Bought a goalkeeper to replace him. Didn't like him. Bought another goalkeeper. Like, you can't have one rule for one and one for another. Either it's all right for Klopp and what's it to do it, or it's not. And Klopp's fucking record, actually, Klopp's like about 2 wins away from having a worse record than Louis van Gaal did, win percentage-wise, and Moyes. United to finish 6th. Right, let's have a look at the fixtures, you know.
Got Palace next,
I think United can actually go on a decent run here, and I look at that Liverpool game and I go, we could get something out of that Liverpool game, because Liverpool game's 16th of December. Let's go through them first, though. So we've got Palace after the international break. That's got to be a win.
Has to be.
We've got Young Boys at home in the Champions League. They are the whipping boys of our group. That's got to be a win. That secures us Champions League qualification then, and that's got to be what we go for. Southampton are fucking shit. That's a win. Arsenal at home midweek Wednesday. Be an even game. I think we can take them. I think we can certainly take them. Yeah. Whether or not we do fucking depends on which team turns up. Fulham at home, that's a win. They're fucking garbage at the moment. Valencia away. Now this is a game that if Jose Mourinho has got anything about him, he goes and starts giving debuts out like fucking sweets. Chong, come on down. Gomez, come on down. Mason, come on down. Because that Wednesday night when we go to Valencia, Valencia can't qualify. Yeah. We're already through. It's a dead rubber match.
We've got Liverpool next.
Give some debuts out, because then that weekend, 4 days later, United go to Anfield. Liverpool do not have the luxury of being able to rest that midweek, because they have to win their games to have a chance of qualifying.
They have not played PSG, I think.
Correct.
Between those, so
Liverpool will have a tough midweek game. Let's take the piss. Let's go and play a completely youthful side. Jose, just get your fucking youth stats up. Even if it's for that reason. Rest the lads. Don't even let them fucking travel. And then if you can go and turn a result over there, because you can get behind Liverpool. People are getting behind Liverpool at the moment. If you could get a result there, then that's going to have been an excellent run for us. We're not that far behind top 4 teams. Certainly we are behind City in terms of points tally of the season, but we're not that far behind. Are we winning the league this year? Fuck no, are we winning the league this year? Can we get top 4? Should we be aiming for that sort of top 2, 3, 4? Yes, we can and we should. That's where you go for it. And then that gets you... Then you've got Cardiff and Huddersfield, where we'll probably fuck it up, but you should on paper at least be winning those games. If you can go from there, even if you go, oh fuck it was a draw with Arsenal, you could win the rest of them games. And then January transfer window's here. Give the guy some peace to go and get something that he needs, and let's see what happens in the second half of the fucking season.
From the 1st of January, we should be negotiating players. We should be making statements from that first
we should be doing it fucking now, mate.
Yeah, I mean, they should be on the fucking table with the contracts ready.
That should be like, it should be the worst known secret in the world, like when fucking Van Dijk signed for Liverpool. You should just be like, done. That's it. Keep liking the video. We're just this short from 500, and we'll do it at 500, and then we'll call it a day. Because you know what? That's fucking drained me, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, everybody else. Any more comments? Any more questions? Talk about City's FFP. Might do a video about that one next week or something. The job says, fucking hell, you make it sound easy. Those games should be easy. You know what I mean? Those games really should be easy.
The one that worries me in between them is Fulham.
Fulham, because how bad they are.
No, that, and I think they're generally brilliant on the ball, but just can't figure out what they're doing as soon as they go past the halfway line. Probably knock it off Mitrovic and get something out of us. Like, that one actually worries me, because we're not that good on the ball.
Matt Williams says, not far off in terms of points, light years in terms of football. I don't think anyone's arguing with that, mate, at all, to be honest with you. Young is one of the best right-backs in the world. I would agree. If he is the only right-back in the world, he is probably in the top 5 if he's the only one. But otherwise, apart from that, he's fucking shite. And are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you know how many shots we had on target apart from the pen? I do. None. You would love to have Klopp. Are you some sort of idiot?
Actually,
Look, I just said to you, like, the guy's on a collision course for a worse win percentage than David Moyes. Remember him? The David Moyes football genius banner that you had? David Moyes didn't sign a £80 million centre half. Anyway, do you think any player would want to come to United right now? Of course they would. Imagine being the only unbeaten team in Europe. Oh, it's Cam, innit? I was going to say it's Chelsea, isn't it? I thought it was fucking City in our beds. Shut up, Cam. We're going over to the coffee shop for a word, me and you. Callum, Mourinho's been given incentive to not set his team up to defend well. If they have a good defensive record, there's a chance Woodward decides not need to send back. I don't know about games like that, because you've got to go win, haven't you? I don't think he's like, let's just play really shit and they'll give me loads of money. It don't work like that. If they play really shit, you lose loads of games. They probably sack you.
I think if it worked like that, I think he tried it early August when it went all wrong against Brighton and Spurs, innit?
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't work like
Rybo says, I'm so depressed. And on that
Join
note,
the club, mate.
listen, thank you guys for joining us. That was grim, wasn't it? And depressing and everything else in between. Got some United history coming for you guys this week. Patreon guys, you've got a podcast probably tomorrow, even though it was meant to be yesterday, wasn't it? Probably tomorrow for the podcast. And there's a vlog coming out Tuesday morning as well. So thank you guys for joining us. Please subscribe if you're new around here. Going for 100,000. Forget it by the end of the season. I'll hit Abdul in the face.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to get smacked at some point this season, I reckon. Cheers, everyone. See you in the next one. Laters. Welcome to the Stephen Howson Football Channel. This is where I will take you through everything that I do revolving around football, be it that at Old Trafford or elsewhere. This is where you will get your match previews, your reviews, your football vlogs, your scout reports, your transfer talk, your youth reviews, your documentaries and anything and everything revolving around football. I absolutely love this game. Do me a favour and subscribe. Thank you for watching.